Now no matter how you try and keep we back, I tell you my intention is to reach out to the top. Who we are, who we are. It's like this. Oh yeah. Gonna left the tipper, boy, allow me go on and left the tipper. Who we are, fin nice on the line and left the tipper. Boy, allow me strive because I wanna keep my family alive. And me sing on left the tipper. Boy, allow me go on and left the DJ. Who we are, fin nice on the line and left the tipper. Boy, allow me strive because I wanna keep my family alive.
Greetings and welcome to Jesse I Interviews. My name is Jesse I and I'm a reggae DJ and radio presenter from Melbourne, Australia, also known as Naarm. I produce this podcast on the unceded lands of the Wurundjeri Woiwurrung people of the Kulin Nation, and I always like to begin by paying respect to them and acknowledging that white Australia has a black history in more ways than one. Before we get into it, just a quick note for those of you who listen to this podcast via YouTube. YouTube is pretty hard on copyrighted music, and depending on where you are in the world, parts of the podcast may be missing or certain episodes might be blocked entirely. I'm loath to recommend Apple Podcasts, Amazon or Spotify. Personally, I boycott those companies as much as I can, but at least they don't actually mute the music parts at all in this podcast. A couple better options though, which I can recommend, are Podbean, which is actually the hosting platform I use, and Podcast Addict, which is a free podcast app that I use personally. I've used it for a few years. It has all the features I need. Anyway, however you're listening, thanks for tuning in. This episode features a phone interview from 2005 with the UK reggae dancehall DJ Tippa Irie ahead of his Australian tour that year. There's not a whole lot to say about this one. It's just a good solid interview with a good solid guy. Let's get right into it. Jesse I interviews Tippa Irie back in October 2005.
Now I believe as an entertainer, you got to have your own style. My name is Mr. Irie, Mr. Versatile, Mr. Cool Profile, Disciplined Child. It's like this. Come, Mr. Irie, are the youth now with enough pedigree. Mr. Irie, are the youth now with the master's degree. I mean, no mean physics, neither IT. I mean as a classic MC.
All right, Tippa, can you still hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. If you just say a few words for me, just got to get your levels right. Mine are a bit high.
Hi, this is Tippa Irie, tuning in to the radio. You know how it goes. The vibes have to flow from my head to my toes.
Wicked. That's spot on. All right. So, yeah, the show I do is called Chant Down Babylon. It's just 2 hours of righteous roots reggae from the old stuff right through to the new stuff.
Yeah, I have a tune called Chant Down Babylon on my Sign of the Times album.
I know it. I've played that one on air already. Don't you worry. Obviously it's pre-record, and like I said, I'll play it close to the time. So if there's anything you say you don't want me to put in or whatever, you can always tell me afterwards. I can edit it out. But otherwise, we're good to go.
All right, whenever you're ready.
With me right now on the line from London. Sorry, you are in London, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
With me right now on the line from London, I have none other than Tippa Irie. Tippa, thanks for joining us here on Chant Down Babylon.
Yes, sir. Greetings and enough respect and blessings to all the people out there in Australia, you know?
Yes, I give thanks. I always like to start my interviews at the beginning, Tippa. I'd like to ask where you were born, what life was like for you as a youth growing up.
Well, I was born in London, UK, you know. My parents came over from Jamaica in the early 60s, and I was born over in Brixton, which is one of the ghetto areas of South London.
Right.
And I grew up basically with my two sisters in South London. Went to school in South London, and I started my career basically with my father, my music career.
Right.
My father had a little sound system called Musical Messiah.
Uh-huh.
And he used to play people like U-Roy, which is the original first DJ,
yep,
and Big Youth and Trinity and Dillinger and people like that. And I just grew up listening to those guys.
Right. So did those DJs make more of an impact on you in the early days than the singers?
Yes, definitely.
Right.
Definitely. Especially U-Roy, you know.
Right.
He's the godfather for all DJs. And I started to listen to him when I was very young. And I was just captured by, you know, tunes that he made, and that just really made me want to emulate him, basically,
right,
and do that. But I used to listen to Dennis Brown. He was my superstar, Dennis Brown,
Right.
and people like obviously Bob and people like Gregory Isaac and people like that. Because my dad used to play all of their music.
Right.
And listening to all these people, it just made me, fall in love with music. And then at the time, we had a little corner store, and the basement of the corner store, that's where my dad used to keep his little shubbeens, his little parties.
Uh-huh.
And he used to rent out that little place to bands as well,
Right.
from the 70s, disco bands. So I used to just sit there and watch these guys play their instruments and do their rehearsals and learn about music and get more and more interested into music. And then a cousin of mine called Mikey, he introduced me to Cecil Rennie, who owned King Tubby's Sound,
Right.
who was actually the cousin of the original King Tubby's from Jamaica.
Right.
And so I just went to their I started to go to their dances, and they loved the way I performed. So I started to perform on their sound system regularly,
Right.
which is King Tubby's sound system.
Right, and that's different that's a different sound from Jar Tubbies that's in the UK these days.
Yeah, that's right. Different sound system.
Right.
This one is more original. This King Tubby's was around before Jar Tubby's.
Gotcha. Now, how old were you at these times?
I was like, I'd say 17, 18.
Right.
So I was pretty young, 17, 18, 19, around them ages there. And then after being on Tubby's, I started to enter a lot of talent competitions and started to win those talent competitions, basically.
Right.
And then one day, this guy called Dennis Rowe and Musclehead from Saxon Sound, they saw me win this competition, and they asked me to come and perform on their sound.
Right.
And when I went to their sound, that's where I met people like Maxi Priest and Papa Levi and Smiley Culture and people like that. And we just started to tour all over the country because the tapes started to circulate of us performing on Saxon Sound. And then it just blew up, basically. We started to get popular all over the UK, and then it started to spread into Europe and then worldwide, and then all the record companies started to become interested in our music, and Maxi got signed to Virgin Records, and I got signed to Greensleeve Records, and Levi got signed to Island, and Smiley Culture and them guys got signed to Fashion Records. So Saxon, Saxon just basically became a movement, and people started to, all around the world started to become interested in, in our music and what we were doing.
Yeah. We still hear about Saxon. Those days, people seem to regard as the glory days for not just Saxon, but also a lot of people seem to regard those days as glory days for the UK dancehall.
Yeah.
How do you, looking at the current UK scene, reggae dancehall in the UK, how do you compare what's going on these days to those days of Saxon?
Well, it's a lot different. Well, because there's not such a movement, Nowadays, because over here in the UK, there's not a lot of places for sound systems to string up and play. There's no house dances no more, and there's not a lot of clubs where, most of the clubs now in the UK have their own set built in. So It's not like there's only a few places that you can go and actually bring your own sound system in and string up your sound and play. So there's not that much of a platform for the young and up-and-coming artists. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there was back in the 80s and the 90s, So I think that's what the difference is. Back in them days, we had houses to go and perform. We had venues to go and perform. So there was much more of a scene than there is now. But and more also, nowadays there's not that much labels that actually put out the music as such. They're more into the music what's coming out of Jamaica more so than the UK artists. So we got to kind of do it ourselves, kind of thing.
Yeah, got you. Well, obviously, reggae in the UK has evolved in a different way to reggae in Jamaica.
Yeah,
As someone, I know you've performed at least quite a few times in Jamaica, I believe.
yeah,
How
yeah.
would you compare the two places?
Well, Jamaica's more hostile, if you like. You know what I mean? You got to be on your P's and your Q's because that's where it's from. So,
Yeah,
when I go to Jamaica to perform, I don't mess about. You just got to be direct. You just got to hit them with your best shots and leave.
right.
Because they're very impatient
Mm,
people when it comes to performances. So you kind of got to just hit them and leave. And in the UK, it's pretty much the same thing because over here they're so spoiled and saturated with everything.
yeah,
So, they get a lot of everything. So it's like, you just got to give them your best and leave, you know what I mean? And for me, I don't have a problem performing anywhere because I kind of feel out my audience and kind of adjust to where I am
right.
and, and give them what I feel they need, or give them my best shot basically to get a response from them.
Gotcha. Well, some people seem to have a bias against reggae made outside Jamaica,
Yeah,
like it's more authentic if it comes out of the Kingston studio scene. How
yeah.
have you experienced any of that in the UK? Like, what's the reaction there?
Yeah, well, sometimes you do. They say that obviously because reggae is originated in Jamaica, you can get an authentic sound. But there's some great producers over here in the UK, like
Definitely.
Peter McLean and Peter Honeygale, and there's other producers like Danny Ray and people like that are really good producers, and they really make good music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it just all depends on, who's actually doing the production. You know what I
Gotcha.
mean?
Yep.
And you've got some people that are better than others, basically. And I think that's what the problem is, because there's some of the music that comes out of there that some of our producers think, what's all this fuss about? You know what I mean? Is it just because it's come from Jamaica why there is such a fuss about it? Because the quality of it is not really happening, because
Sure.
there's a lot of producers that send music up from Jamaica for a UK artist to vocal, and we send it back because we don't think it's good enough. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
So it works both ways. So, it's just a matter of opinion.
Yep.
Because I haven't actually done most of my, 16, 17 albums, have been recorded in the UK.
Right.
And been recorded in America. And, the only things that I've done in Jamaica is dub plates
Right.
for sound systems while I was out there.
Yep.
But, and my career has been successful. So, at the end of the day, it's just a matter of opinion, that is really.
Yeah, for sure. Well, one thing that the UK can really hold a claim to is the fast talking chat style, which I know you've played a big part in that. What
That's right.
What can you tell us about the emergence of that sort of style?
Well, that style came about in the late 80s, and it was developed by the Saxon Sound Crew, and basically we changed the face of reggae music when we created that style, because, U-Roy and people like Yellow Man and all these people, their style was more relaxed, it was more laid back feel, and we kind of upped the game, So all of the artists from Jamaica, they started to follow what we were doing and follow our style, you know what I mean, and follow our lyrics, because we was the ones that really started to write long lyrics,
Right.
that means you write lyrics from start to finish. It's just continuous, and it fills up the rhythm rather than being repetitive like it was back in the day in Jamaica. You know what I mean? They would sing a chorus, and they'd sing the chorus. You'd hear the chorus about 4 or 5 times, in one tune. But with us, we put lyrical content, into the game, and that's what we did. And, the people then, when they come to my show, they'll notice that, we have punchlines, because you need the punchlines for people to sing along to. But lyrical contents of our lyrics, it's, people like Maccabee, people like Pato Banton, you got Papa Levi, Tippa Irie, this is what we're all about, we have lyrical content. and messages,
Yeah.
positive messages in our music. I mean, obviously, I make people laugh, and I like to, make people laugh and give people jokes and whatever. But mainly, it's about upliftment and progressive music. Fast style was created by a guy called Peter King, who was a member of Saxon,
Right.
and he kind of just done a style called Me Neat, Me Sweet, Me Norfolk Beat, and then Levi done Me God, Me King,
Yeah.
which was number one for 7 weeks in Jamaica, which was the first UK tune to be number one in Jamaica.
Right.
And then I came with a style called this all the time. The lyrics are rhyme, which I will do. I always close my show with that tune because it just blows up the place,
Wicked.
And so that was really it. Really, Peter King came up with the style, and back in the day when anybody, if I came up with a style that everybody loved, then everybody would write a lyric off of that style, and that's what made us kind of unique. You know what I mean? Because everybody, if I came up with a style that was original and Smiley liked it and Levi liked it or whoever, they'll all write their own version but with the same melody as mine. You know what I mean? And basically that's why the fast style got so big, because Peter King originated it, and then we all just wrote our own styles to it. And, at that time, no DJs was not doing that. So it was good because all the DJs from Jamaica started to follow us. So that was nice,
Yeah, well, I know you mentioned that you've recorded like 16, 17 albums now. So obviously you've been at it for a long, long time, and you're never slowing down. How do you feel that you've evolved as a performer over this time?
Well, you just, for me, it's like I just call it another day at the office.
Right.
And a show for me is another day at the office. I know what I can do. I know my capabilities, and I know how to entertain people. And when I go out on stage, I just give 100% because I know that people come out to enjoy my music, and and I try to give them my best. So for me, that's what I do. I give 100% every time. And as a performer, you're learning all the time. You're learning. You learn, and I watch other people. But you're never too old to learn. And for me, I just give 100%, and that's why I think people, I keep getting work year after year, because I give my best when I go out on stage, and people always want me to come back.
Right. Well,
but you got to have an open mind on stage and be vigilant and kind of work out the people, feel out the audience kind of thing. I like to get to my shows early and kind of see what the people them are reacting to, and just in case, because some of the places that I'm going to play in Australia, like the first one, I think it's kind of like a world music festival. We don't know what to expect, kind of thing.
Sure.
So we just kind of feel out the vibes and then just play it by ear,
Yeah.
And if we see something not working, then we try something else,
Right. But of course, this isn't your first trip to Australia. I know you played here with Nasty Tech Sound System.
Yeah, that was back in the day, But I'm making myself sound like a pensioner now, but I'm not. But I think that was about, I don't know, I think it was about 10 years ago now.
Yeah, I think
I was over there, something like that.
Yeah, it was like 97, I think, the date I saw.
Yeah, in Sydney. And it was cool, man. We had fun, I came over with a friend of mine called Peter Honeygale, who's a great singer.
Yep.
And we played at this place called Power Cuts in Sydney, and we played there a couple of weekends, and it was nice. We played at the Metro also.
Right.
And and a couple of other places. So it was cool. Love the vibes, and really looking forward to come back. It's been a long time.
Yeah, well, we're definitely looking forward to having you here in Melbourne. Of course,
I'm ready, man. I'm ready, and I just want all the fans to turn out. All the people that love reggae music, just come out and check the vibes. They're going to get all types of reggae music that night. They're going to get lovers rock. They're going to get dub. They're going to get roots. They're going to get culture. They're going to get dancehall. They're going to get bashment. They're going to get, you know, a little bit of swing, because I got this tune called Hello Darling, which was #1 for me.
Right.
And in the middle of the show, I like to break down and sing that little tune for the ladies, you know, just to let them cool down a bit. And but they're going to get speed rapping, they're going to get everything, man. So I want the people them in Australia to come and experience a Tippa Irie show, you know.
Wicked. All right, we're looking forward to it. It's Wednesday the 30th of November at the Prince of Wales Band Room. And, of course, it's sound system style. You got Mikey Boops from the original Saxon coming out. Yeah,
we're going to be playing some dub plates, man. So if people want to hear some Saxon specials, you know, they need to come and check it out.
Wicked.
Because it's going to be nice, you know. We'll be playing all types of reggae, you know. Because I'm going to do my show, and then we're going to play a selection of new music. Some probably they haven't heard before, and then we're going to play, you know, some classic Saxon dub plates.
Wicked.
And then we're going to play some classic reggae hits from the past, you know. So it will be a mixture of everything.
Wicked, man. It sounds terrific. Just before I let you go, I just wanted to ask where you got the name Tippa Irie.
That was a nickname from school, you know. It's just a nickname. I just love Irie because Irie's, of course, it's feeling good, and that's what I like to make people do.
That's it.
And Tippa, I used to have a friend called Skipper, you know. So it was Tippa and Skipper
Right.
at school. And so I just kept my Tippa, I just put Irie at the end because I thought, right, Tippa Irie. And, you know, for me, because they used to call me Tippa from school, so
Wicked.
I just put Tippa Irie because I know Irie means feeling good and make people feel good. So that's what I plan to do as a performer, you know, is to make people feel Irie. So that's why I put that name together, you know.
Straight. All right, respect. Tippa Irie, thank you very much for joining us here on Chant Down Babylon. We're looking forward to seeing you here in Melbourne before too long.
Yes, I will be there. So tell the fans them to turn out because it's going to be a good show.
All right, respect. Give
Blessed
thanks.
love, yeah.
Just before you go, Tippa, could I get you to record a quick jingle for the radio show just over the phone?
Yeah, what's the name of the show?
The show's called Chant Down Babylon.
Okay.
And I'm Jesse I.
Jesse I.
Yep.
Okay, you ready?
Yes.
We have to get up, stand up, and chant down Babylon. Get up, stand up, and chant. We have to get up, stand up, and chant down Babylon. Get up, stand up, and chant. Now this is Tippa Irie, the original ragamuffin, and you know, and I know that you know that when it comes to reggae music, you have to tune in to Jesse I, playing the best selection.
Yes, King. Wicked. All right, Tippa. All right, terrific, man. I'm really. You got me really excited now, hanging out for this show. So I'll see you in.
All right, bless.
See you in a month's time.
Yeah, man. I'll be there, man.
All right, respect, Tippa.
Protection.
Give
Peace.
thanks.
All right, nice.
Now this is Mr. Irie back on them case again. Because enough of them don't know say the fast talking a Saxon DJs create. So all of them massive them, get up to date. Watch this. Come and say this to the Mr. Irie confess said things straight to no see the fast talking. Saxon DJs create matter they don't this to the Mr. Irie confess said things straight to no see the fast talking. Saxon DJs create no creator. It's a Peter King him create and creator. It's a Papa Levi create and creator. It's a Daddy Colonel create and creator. It's a Tippa Irie create. Come and say this a Mr. Irie, Mr. don't touch cooking. Daddy Tippa come fi carry you down a mirror really. Me say this to the Mr. Irie, Mr. don't touch cooking. Me say Tippa go and carry you down a mirror really.
Tippa Irie speaking to me there back in October 2005. That's it for another one. Big shout out as always to the Patreon supporters, the Don Armageddon Time, the Real General Empress Irie, me Idrin Tom Taniki and me Chargy DJ Pablito. Thanks for listening. Eyes as every time.
Babylon system, you know. Keith Lawrence, Mr. Irie. It's like this. Uno can go on with anything in Babylon. Tell Uno fi do Uno go do it. Uno can go on with. No for Uno out then I move like sheep. Come me say I'm not a dreamer. I'm me not in a politics.